Are you eating bugs? I mean, what are you actually eating in your food? Do you really know? We have all this FDA testing, and then if you go on the back of your ingredients, you see these lists of hundreds of things you have no idea what it is. Well, today we're going to be discussing what you're actually eating, because it goes along with what California is trying to do to its food supply, what the government is trying to do to our food supply, and how they're trying to control it more. Wait till you hear this. We think things get better, but actually the bureaucracy wants control of it. We're going to discuss that because there's a journalist that just exposed a little bit more about our food system. Also, we're going to talk about Elon Musk, just crazy grave danger warning when he talks about the dangers of AGI and AI and how it will, humans were always smarter than every creature on Earth. Now that is not the case anymore. And now it's AI and AGI. Wait till you hear what he has to say, because it goes along with what a CIA whistleblower once said. He actually spent time in jail, in prison, because he exposed the CIA. We're going to talk about what he stated about all these electronics, all these smart devices, all the refrigerators, the washers, the dryers, the thermostats, the things that are smart, quote unquote smart in your home. How smart are they? Two more stories with that. Meta glasses. It knows everyone and everything. Remember, we talked about the dangers of December 16th, what's coming with AI getting private information and personal information of all your information on social media. Snapchat doing the same thing. TikTok does the same thing. Facial recognition will now be put into AI and AGI to where you will know every person that comes across you. You go to a theme park, you go to a concert, you're going to know everyone there. And somehow they're scanning and knowing who's at that event. Surveillance. Wow, that's crazy. So many stories dealing with AI. And then lastly, we're going to discuss what a billionaire just stated about the market. Also, one of Trump's financial gurus that's probably going to be heading the Fed. He makes a comment that is very, very disturbing and bizarre about, well, everything is going great, but what if this happens? Why would he say that? What do we know? Because there's two massive bank announcements coming saying within 2 years, the whole market's going to change. What do they know that we don't know? And is this the signs of new money? Let's dive into all these stories today so much, because it deals with your food, your money, and your freedom. Some big stuff. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. I'm telling you, this video to me kind of freaked me out more than ever, because some of these stories that are coming out deals with everyday life. Wait till you hear these. Now let's jump into them. I'm gonna go over these headlines and also what this journalist just stated about the food supply. First, let's talk about what just happened in California. It says, Democrats are attacking our food supply. California Democrats just passed a Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. This restricts how much water farmers can use or not use and allocates water to some of the biggest businesses and data centers and companies over our farm and food supply. It says this is how sometimes we realize that farmers will be shut down, because they will not be able to actually take care of their crops anymore. The redistricting and the result of them moving water could mean that millions of acres of farmland will be desolate, and that water will be moved to the highest bidder. It says because of this, what we're going to see is the destroying of natural food. They said a lot of these farms, especially some of the ones that are organic, will not survive what's coming when it comes to water rights. We've talked about water rights in the West and how dangerous it is. I wouldn't live out West because of that. But when the water supply is going to be ruled by big business or government, then it allows for the small farmer who may own millions of acres, but guess what? He's one vote. See, that's what you got to remember. It's kind of like the Delta of Mississippi. There's tons of farmland up there, tons of food coming off. But when it comes down to it, it may be just a handful of people owning a lot of land that grows a lot of that food. So there are not a lot of votes. They don't really care. But that data center will bring in multiple billions of dollars of tax generation. And also it ties to all these businesses that own all kinds of votes across the world. So who's actually over our food supply? And what is it doing to the food supply that we once had? Let's go to this next study because this goes along with what this journalist just said. Journalist Alex Newman. I don't know if you listen to Alex Newman. Great journalist. Says there's an absolute agenda to destroy the existing agricultural systems in the world and replace it with central plan, fascist-style, public-private partnerships that are completely dominant and controlled to where big business, big players, the people who buy into the system will be the ones who feed us. Now, this has nothing to do with the California bill that just passed. He was bringing this up months before the California situation. But what he's showing is the whole purpose is if they can destroy the food system, the agricultural system, and what they'll do, they won't say that they're taking away your food. What they'll do is do it like this. They'll manipulate the water rights. What they'll do is they'll manipulate certain ways that you have to buy and be taxed on certain grains and goods and foods and feeds. And they'll set up new regulations to where you can't, I plant this organically. You have to use this GMO crop. You have to do this or that. That's already happening. Let's keep on going with what Alex was saying. This is a very serious assault on humanity. Listen to this. It goes back to Henry Kissinger, where he said the use of food can be used as a weapon to depopulate the world. That was a direct quote from Henry Kissinger. They understand that they control the food and they control the energy. They've got us. Well, if all of a sudden these data centers come in, all of a sudden these little nuclear reactors come in, that is controlling the energy. And guess what the next money is going to be based on? Energy. Bitcoin. All of these cryptos are based on energy. We'll discuss something dealing with our money in just a second. Why do you think all big business is pushing away from food and centralizing food around energy sources to where energy will be the ones making the decisions? Taking the water and the food land and putting it into these data centers or these energy hubs, such as these little micro nuclear reactors. That's exactly what's taking place. So there's a reason they're buying up all the land. It's not to feed you. It's not to make it better. It's actually to control the land so then they can utilize it for what they choose to utilize it for. This leads to two more stories. Walmart, Target, and Aldi just did a massive recall on shredded cheese. Now, we never buy shredded cheese. It's one of the most dangerous, harmful things because there's an anti-caking agent. That's how it stays shredded and it doesn't stick to each other. It's got an anti-caking agent. It's carcinogenic, terrible for you. Again, read your ingredients, people. But this just came out that these bags of shredded cheese had pieces of metal shavings in it and very dangerous. It's a class 1 recall, and that this would be a fully refund at the grocery store. But what you don't realize is FDA allowed this to go through and then all of a sudden pulled it back. It says that this product can cause medical health issues very, very bad. Some temporary, but some catastrophic. It says class 1 is the most dangerous and is big risk. All because some cheese. But this is the same government that tells you this cheese is good. This is the same government that tells you that the bioengineered ingredients and these anti-carcinogenic and these anti-caking carcinogenic agents are good for you. Shows that we should not trust government with our food system. This just came out. It says 5 companies that are feeding you insects and you have no idea. See, here's the thing. Because they're so good at hiding in those ingredients that you can't read. Honestly, here's what I want to say. This is how me and Misty approach food. If we can't grow it and we buy it, this is how we look at it. If we can turn it over and understand the ingredients and understand what those ingredients are and know and pronounce them, and it does not say bioengineer, it is, of course, non-GMO organic. But if we can read those ingredients, then we will buy it. And we will understand it and we know what those ingredients are. But so many people don't. Just for instance, do you know pickles in your store? Regular pickles. Now, we make pickles at our home. But do you know regular pickles in the store have polysorbonate? Read polysorbonate. That's what they make yoga mats and flip-flops out of. Do you want that in your pickles? But I digress. Let's just go to this next story. It says about what's in your food. It says 5 companies that are feeding you insects and you do not know this. Barilla. Now, that's a pasta company. Barilla is like a blue box. Some of them are non-GMO. Now, this is why you have to read the ingredients. It says the plant protein in most Barilla pasta is made up of cricket flowers. In some areas, they are utilizing and testing it out. The Beyond Meat, which is even gross that you're even buying it, but the plant-based meat, the pea protein and the isolate in there is a mealworm larva. Red Bull energy drinks, Now, we've been telling people they're bad for you anyway. If you're going to drink an energy drink, drink a green tea energy drink, an organic green tea energy drink, because they're not bad for you. They have the things that are naturally occurring that are good caffeine. But I digress. Red dye, the red dye in Red Bulls are crushed female cochineal. Ferrero Nutella. There's black soldier mineral enrichment fly larva in there. And then PepsiCo, Lay's chips. The natural flavoring, there's some quote unquote natural flavoring that's coming from grasshopper. Now, that's not every bag of chip, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is, you see, they can cover up the dangers of things like insects in your food because of the way that they label it. Well, guess how they get their labeling passes? The FDA and USDA. What are you eating? So the food problem, yeah, the water. Food problem, yeah, the energy. The food problem, yeah, the ingredients. But ultimately, you know who caused all these food problems? The government and FDA. They're the ones giving the pass. They're the ones getting the rules. They're the ones breaking their own rules. They're the ones doing the recalls, but they're the ones that's also approved those cheeses to go out. Pay attention to your food system. Take it and control it. And if you can't understand what the ingredients are on the back of these things, don't buy it. But before we go to this next story, dealing with AI and the dangers of it, a word from today's sponsor, because it goes along with just what we're fixing to talk about with what Elon said, AGI, AI. Check them out. I wanted to try it just to say, is when, our phone's listening to us, the information that we put on there, how dangerous is it for us? Are we actually compromised? So I said, I'm going to go to Google, and I'm just going to Google one of my sister's names. So I typed in her name. All of a sudden, I start realizing my oldest sister's old address from 4 years ago was on there. Our home phone number was listed on there from when I was a kid. Not only that, it gave emails. It gave all this information. So I called her and I said, do you realize I can get all this information, probably take out a few credit cards, open new accounts? It blew her mind. I want you to try this too. I want you to go and just Google one of your family members' names. Not to be a creeper or anything, but I want you to just test my theory. Go out there and just Google. It will blow your mind at what you can find out about your family members. The sad thing about when you search, a lot of this information, a lot of these websites, a lot of the places that you go are ran by data brokers. They're getting your information, and guess what? They're sharing it with people who are not the most reputable, maybe even on the dark web. From scammers to spammers, none of these people are actually looking out for your well-being and your information. Now, here's the thing. They're not legally able to have your information if you tell them to take your information off. But I'll be honest with you. If you start looking online, you realize how many people have your information. It's almost impossible for you to go to all these companies and say, please, take my information off your sites. See, that's the benefit of my sponsor today, Aura. Aura comes alongside you. They work to do just that, to take your information away from being vulnerable, away from being compromised, from the people that want to scam you and spam you all the time. Aura identifies all the data brokers that are getting your information, and they give an opt-out clause, meaning they cannot legally have your information anymore. It's kind of like having a house and having doors and having locks and never locking the door. Aura allows you to lock the door. Give Aura just a few weeks. I promise you what you're going to see is your information is going to start being yours again. You're going to realize the spammers and scammers are going to stop. Aura also continuously monitors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're going to make sure they let you know if it is. Also, they have a world-class VPN to keep you safe as you search the internet. Do not miss out on this opportunity to utilize Aura to benefit you and your family's safety online. Remember, let's lock the door. You can go to my link below, aura.com/themacs. It's in the description. When you click on that, you're getting a 14-day free trial. In that 14 days, you're going to realize all the benefits of what they're doing. They're going to opt your information out from being vulnerable and compromised. Check out Aura today, aura.com/themacs. Do not miss out on this opportunity to have this free trial along with your safety. All right, let's go to AI and AGI, and this is what Elon said. We're going to talk about this because it relates back to several other things, dealing with Meta, dealing with the CIA, dealing with the whistleblower that talked about the dangers of surveillance. Let's just go over some of these details, some headlines. This is from Mario Nafal, he shared. It says, Elon stated, AI will soon be smarter than humans in every way with AGI. Elon warned that the age of artificial general intelligence is near, saying humans will soon no longer be smarter and the smartest being on Earth. It says AGI will surpass human capabilities entirely and can use it to replicate humans' thought and behavior. Humans have been the smartest creatures on Earth for such a long time, but now AGI will take over. Now, when you think about the end times, biblical times, you think about the God complex and the Antichrist. Man, AGI and AI is looking more and more like what will be used for control in end times. I mean, honestly. It says that AI will be smarter than humans, and humans will not be able to overcome AI. How do you shut down AI at this point? You destroy the grid. Wait, we just said the government was over the grid and over the energy, and they're trying to build every aspect and opportunity for the grid to keep on thriving because they need it for control of food, the money, because we're supposed to talk about crypto, and also now AI, robotics. How important is the grid? Well, it's everything. Elon Musk brought it up just the other day. He said Bitcoin will be the money of the future because of energy. AI will be used to replicate every aspect of life to make it better for humans. Now, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that AI is going to make it better. I believe we're going to feel more convenient and it's going to be more quote-unquote comfortable because AI can do so much for you. But it's going to take your mind and alter it to a point where you won't need to critically think anymore. Listen to this Neuralink article that just came out, and then we're going to talk about the Meta glasses, also what the CIA whistleblower just stated. Neuralink turns your brain into remotes for any device. Neuralink is meant to help individuals, but what it will then become is a superhuman device. AI and AGI right in your brain. I mean, can we talk about chipping here, people? Come on. You got promoted to thinking and controlling everything around you. Think about it. The devices react to every aspect to where it can control arms, wheelchairs, lights, locks. It can make anything in your mind that wants to see something happen. And if it's hooked into AI and wireless capabilities, you can control it. If a phone can command it, your brain can do it even more. Built for paralysis, but can be scaled to help anyone with superpowers. Our cravings for godlike complexes is happening right now. Neuralink will turn your brain into a remote for every device. That's pretty scary. So here's the thing. If our brain with the Telelink and Neuralink can control every aspect, what about can it be controlled and you become controlled? If those devices can be controlled, then that means the device in your head maybe can control, or you could be hacked. I mean, are we worried about the dangers of that? I mean, do we not see this as a major potential problem? Let's listen to what Meta glasses are doing and then listen to the CIA whistleblower, because it all ties into the dangers. Now, you remember me telling you about Meta December 16th, how you better opt out and go through the steps. There's videos on it about opting out, because remember, December 16th, all these companies, Snapchat, TikTok, Meta, all these companies are going to be able to utilize your private text, your private messages, your private pictures, everything that you've done on your phone dealing with Meta or with these other platforms will be able to be utilized, if you don't opt out, to build into their AI software. Listen, this is from Pascal Bornet. It says, rest in peace, your privacy. AI glasses can now recognize anyone, anywhere. A Dutch journalist just tested a pair of AI-powered glasses that can instantly identify all strangers on the street. No government database, no police systems, just public data off the shelf that AI has taken from individuals. You look at someone with these glasses on, you can tell exactly who they are. You know everything about their life. You can dig into their public data because it's been shared through AI. So if this gentleman comes on, I can say, oh, this is John Smith. He lives at so-and-so, so-and-so. He has 3 kids, 2 dogs, and he drives a BMW. And he also works, or he just got unemployed. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I know his wife. I know everything about him. That's dangerous. That's what's happening. This guy proved it right before our very eyes. And all of a sudden, you're going to think, well, that's because they're wearing their special glasses. Well, if all of a sudden Neuralink can do all it can do, what if all of a sudden they make this a contact lens? You know, we're seeing stuff like we see Mission Impossible and Jason Bourne. I mean, this is the kind of technology that we have. So everybody at all times is surveilling each other. And what kind of database is holding all this? Somebody's got to get all this information and retain it. All these servers, all these data centers that's taking up our water, groundwater, remember? Who's controlling that? This is where it gets really creepy, guys. Really bizarre and really creepy. Listen to what this former CIA spy said. Again, went to prison for exposing and being a whistleblower. But listen to this. A former CIA spy explains how the CIA can listen to conversations all throughout your home TVs, laptops, and pretty much any smart device, no matter if it's turned off or not. The capabilities of getting information and getting data and getting all surveillance can be done, even when it's off. So the dangers are there. So what about all these databases and servers? What about all this information that's getting taken with AI? With AGI, remember, it's smarter than every human. So if it's getting all this data, and all this data can be utilized to control the Neuralink, and the glasses and AI can see every person in this room and know exactly who they are and tell their whole life story because of public data. Where's that data going? Well, there's a former CIA spy that whistle blew that says, well, it's going to the CIA, and the CIA is getting all your information. They know everything about you. They know all your darkest secrets. They know everything about your life. Do we think this is a good thing? What happened to independence and freedom? AI will destroy that, and the government's helping them. Last point, and this is what really brings it home, because the agricultural energy thing, along with the massive surveillance tied to the government and the dangers of AI, goes along with this last topic. Energy style money, crypto. Now, let's go through just a few headings. Let's go through a few headlines. Ray Dalio comes out and says, I'm worried about something worse than a recession will be coming, and it will be a profound shock to the monetary order. Now, I know Ray Dalio says this kind of stuff all the time, but there's times he's been proven true, and there's been times where he's a billionaire, so it's not like he's stupid. So when you think about hearing this, and he's saying, look, this is why I buy gold. This is why I don't just put all my money in pure money in stock markets, because it's dangerous. We have to hedge against that because there's something happening. Now, this goes along with what Kevin Hassett just said. Now, Kevin Hassett is one of Trump's right-hand men when it comes to financials. He's probably going to be the head of the Fed next once Jerome Powell's out. I want you to listen to what he says, because there's a part in here that's very, very bizarre and disturbing, because we talk about, well, the dangers of losing our dollar. Our dollar will never lead us unless. Listen to what he says. This is crazy. I think we're looking at the golden years of American economic history. I believe we're going to see the best years ever. Now, here's the part that's a little strange. Provided that we don't have some kind of random black swan event or a disruption that could cause for catastrophic fallback. Now, when you have an economist tell you that everything is working perfect unless something random happens, why would he say that? Why would he say that? Along with the billionaire like Ray Dalio saying that he believes something major is coming that's going to disrupt the dollar. This is crazy. Michael Saylor came out and stated, and again, I'm not a Bitcoin person, but Michael Saylor came out and said, if you knew what I knew, again, a billionaire that's been invested in this Bitcoin scenario, and it seems like he never loses, and he somehow always has money. So I think there's a lot of ties to crypto with government, but I digress. He says, if you knew what I knew, everyone would invest in crypto, because that is now our Bitcoin's what he says, but he says that is going to happen sooner than later, meaning the whole system is going to be on some kind of blockchain. So if 2 billionaires stating that there's something crazy happening with our dollar, and then all of a sudden Trump's right-hand economic man says, well, everything's going perfect, but if we have some black swan event, it would put us back in Stone Ages. It would be dangerous. It would hurt us tremendously. The golden age will become the black age. It would be dangerous. Listen to what this PayPal executive just said about the dollar and about the next maybe 2 years. It says, former PayPal president just dropped a bombshell. All the money in the world will be moved to Bitcoin. We're talking trillions each day. He said the modern digital payment system will be Bitcoin and crypto within the very coming future. Again, a billionaire who has his hands on all monetary policy is saying the same thing as the other two billionaires about the dangers of what's happening with the dollar. Last quote. New SEC chair, Paul Atkins. Now, SEC is the one that's over the markets, but also the one that's been tasked with understanding crypto and making sure they pass regulation and coverage for crypto, where businesses, banks, and government can be on the blockchain and can be tied into crypto. Well, we're getting all this energy production in AI, we've got to have it for crypto too. Direct quote from this SEC chair. All U.S. markets will be on the chain within 2 years. Tokenization is not an if, it's a when. Direct quote. Why do we tokenize everything? Well, because there's been a disruption or a problem with our dollar to where then we have to look for a new currency. Our money, our energy, our agriculture, our food. All these things are getting controlled by one element, our government. We can put it under headings of FDA, USDA, or SEC, but ultimately, each one of these situations are failing the typical American. So it comes down to you. Are you in control of what's going on around you? Now, sadly, we can't control what this smart TV is doing or this phone is doing, but we can try to hinder it by making sure that we're putting ourselves always, in different areas that don't have this kind of junk sitting around all the time, that's not using smart technology all the time, that's not watching shorts and reels and entertainment, and they're starting to learn and critically think, read their Bible, read a book, spend some time touching grass outside, learning how to grow, trying to still have independence in a crazy, chaotic world. Push back on crypto. Push back on AI. Push back on government surveillance of this. Push back on agriculture being completely run by government and grocery stores. It's time to prepare immediately and control parts of your life that you still can't control. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.